Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to be talking about salt water distillation and what that is. Salt water distillation is a process used by separating fresh water from salt water by evaporating water and then condensing it back into liquid state. This method is commonly employed to produce fresh water from seawater or brackish water for various purposes, including drinking water, irrigation, and industrial applications. Let's take a look at some of the differences and methods of saltwater distillation. Overall, I'm currently looking at different markets and where are a lot of opportunities, right? Most of the people will probably know that there are some places in the world. Most of the time, those places can be around the middle if you're looking at the globe, right? Most of the time, some of the places there, it's just because of the temperature, right? There are a lot of opportunities in that particular area for people who do not necessarily have drinking water or have access all the time to drinking water. So there are some projects out there, there's some funding there, and there are a lot of opportunities with regards to distillating water and overall fresh water, drinking water, and how to get that. And one of the ways how to produce that particular water, it could be taken from seawater and removing salt. And how to do it? Most of the time, it can be a very expensive process just because of how much energy it can consume this particular process. But there are different methods how it could be done, as well as some of the projects out there that is already doing it. Solar distillation. Stills are a simple device that uses energy from the sun to heat salt water, causing it to evaporate. The water vapor then condense on the surface and collects the fresh water. Solar cells are often used in remote and arid regions where access to fresh water is limited, as well as that's a particular problem that they're looking to solve with solar is how energy consuming the process can be to evaporating water. So some of the problems they're trying to address. There are some projects. I don't know if I can discuss those projects. If you would Google it, you would find some of the projects that are talented groups of people trying to solve water shortage with solar distillation plants and where those plants are set up and some of the progress that you can track up there. What I'm saying is where there are a lot of opportunities, right? So there's a lot of people, especially right now, are perhaps thinking about scarcity and finance and where to find opportunities, how to help people, and how to source finance, especially something that I'm personally focusing on, how to solve problems for people in return. They by saying thanks, they will perhaps give you some finance, if anything, perhaps some buildings. I don't know. Can they give you some? I don't know, coffee beans. I don't know. I'll take coffee beans. I like coffee, right? But either way, solve a problem for large groups of people, right? So solve a problem. Some of the that most of the people can't go all day without. So that's a real problem. You're not inventing new problems, right? So you solve this kind of problem. To you generate water, and first you need to find water. So you salt water from a sea. That's one way to do it, but it's not necessarily limited to that. There's nets that can catch water vapor. There's a lot of projects out there in Sahara Desert. This particular project where they're catching water with the nets, and there they're collecting that water into the bottles, and either way, what they're trying to solve water scarcity projects and some of the projects out there. And you potentially, if you do have a really good idea, you can source finance for your project, and there are governments that are interested in funding particular projects, how you can solve those projects with regards to very important problems. Some of those problems being food. Multi-stage flash distillation. This is more complex and energy intensive process used in the desalination plants. It involves multiple stages of chambers where salt water is heated to produce steam. The steam is then condensed into fresh water, leaving behind the concentrated brine. This method is efficient but requires significant amount of energy. I personally believe currently within the market, so that's where opportunities are. Most of the projects out there, they can be very energy consuming. So we're looking for alternatives and other options, perhaps some very creative ideas, something that there's a lot of demand for. Reverse osmosis. Although not strictly a distillation process, reverse osmosis is another common method for distillation. It uses semi-permeable members to filter out salt and semi-permeable membrane to filter out salt and impurities from the water, allowing fresh water to pass through. Reverse osmosis energy efficient compared to distillation method, but may not be as effective in removing all impurities. Because some particles are larger than the other particles. I believe I have done a little bit of research on this particular method. Some particles are a lot larger, then you pull those particles out. So some particles should stay behind, and so the only smaller particles should go through. Vacuum distillation. This method involves reducing the pressure in container to lower the boiling point of water. Salt water is heated under reduced pressure, causing it to evaporate at a lower temperature. The vapor is then condensed to produce fresh water. Vacuum distillation is energy efficient but may not be suitable for all applications. For those of you who are interested in learning more, I have published a book. In the book, I'm sharing a lot of information with regards to fitness and what I personally have done in my own journey, and which all information which I believe is very important for all of you out there with regards to fitness and your own body. Some of the areas that I'm covering is overall process, thinking process, and how to begin working out, as well as so many people have done it, and it's always the same process for the most part. How to break apart your targets that you're looking to achieve based on your fitness goals, how to approach fitness, or how to begin if you're just starting out, and as well as if you are a professional, some of the areas that everyone can improve on, and how to structure your training routines. I'm covering everything in this book. You can find this book in the description below, as well as top retailers has it. It depends on the regions, but who are struggling with water, and perhaps some ideas that people might have up there, how you can do particular prove it that your method might work on a smaller scale, and from there you can scale this project into a larger scale. But if anything, what I'm trying to say is there are still a lot of large problems out there. Only thing is needed right now, if anything, a large group of talented people who can solve some of those problems. Either that would be engineers, technicians, electric engineers, even building bridges, right? So in some of the regions out there, if you are capable of building large buildings, if you are capable of building large bridges and managing large projects up there, there's a lot of opportunities up there. There's a lot of finance up there, and there are. What I'm trying to say, there are a lot of opportunities up there for people who can actually manage and run those projects. That's my personal understanding, and I'm here to share some of the examples of where I personally believe there are a lot of opportunities there. Overall, saltwater distillation is essential in regions with limited access to freshwater resource, such as arid coastal areas. However, it can be energy intensive and costly. As well as, for those who don't know, In China, they're struggling with even in the, if not the first or second world economy right now, they do not have enough drinking water even in those regions, right? You can do your own research to understand a little bit better. They are thinking how to do it. Perhaps send it some of, from the north to send it to some of the China's region. They do not have fresh water there, enough fresh water there. Overall, however, it can be energy intensive and costly, making it important to consider the environmental and economic impact of distillation process. Additionally, the disposal of concentrated brine generated during the distillation process can have environmental consequences, so proper management is crucial. Overall, so byproducts as well as how you're gonna do it, would that be perhaps shipping from one region to another, from one lake, with the pipes, where they're shipping perhaps oil today? They might replace the oil with water, so there's a lot of opportunities there. Perhaps not with the same pipes, but overall, if there's no drinking water, some of the regions have there, and there are a lot of opportunities there. So there's the Blue Nile as well as what is it, White Nile. Some of the regions there, we do have a lot of water, there are a lot of mountains, there's a lot of millimeters of rainwater that dropping, but in some of the regions across, they do not have completely any water there. So there's opportunities there, well, that's what I'm saying. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next one.